get started, y'all. We about to get started.
Welcome back to All the Smoke.
All the smoke, or should I say some of the smoke, or brought Kamala Harris, None of the Smoke podcast did an interview with Kamala Harris. And for those of you who are new to the program and ask, why do you call her Kamala? You're mispronouncing your name. Listen here, you fake ass Michael Eric Dyson. Her name been Kamala here in California for 30 goddamn years. There you go. My mama called her Kamala. I'ma call her Kamala. She was Kamala when she ran for state senator. She was Kamala when she ran for attorney general. KCAL 9 News calls her Kamala. Nigga, watch KCAL and Kent Shocknick. And if you was in LA back in the 90s, you remember Kent Shocknick used to call her Kamala Harris back in the day. Man, named just the same way the crypto arena is still the Staples Center, the same way Obama Boulevard is still Rodeo Road. Nigga, her name is Kamala, like the wrestler. You dig? So I'm going to start off by saying that. Welcome, chat room. Kenneth Berry. I ain't seen in a minute, man. Good seeing my brother, Marquis Collins. Aries Cuisine. And Kenneth Berry been on his media mission. Chasing down. I'm glad you're where you need to be right now in what you do, my brother. Yeah. You're right, it was Kamala in the WWF. It was Kamala, nigga. Dr. Sinister's profile picture looked like a monkey named Kamala. Or a gorilla named Kamala. Her name is Kamala, goddammit. I ain't changing shit. Well, anyway, Kamala Harris had an interview on All the Smoke podcast. And before I get started, I want to say salute to Zoe Williams. I did Zoe's show today at the studio. It was a very, very, very fun show. I love doing Zoe Williams' show. Man. Like, my first time doing it, I had a great time doing it, you know. Been around Zoe on 5150 and just around, you know. Always had respect for that brother. So I had a good time on his podcast today. So also I want to say rest in peace to Taggart from Beverly Hills Cop. Man, I'm glad he got to make that Beverly Hills Cop, that last one. Chris Christopherson, rest in peace. Rest in peace Dikembe Mutombo. And rest in peace, Pete Rose. God damn. That's crazy. I do find it funny that Pete Rose, and actually sad, Pete Rose dies the year that the Major League Baseball is celebrating Oshanti, the Asian baseball player whose translator, and by all intents and purposes, had a whole lot of connections to gambling. His translator took the fall, But all of the links led back to O'Shanti, but they ignored it and allowed him to go on with the season. I'm sure he'll make the Baseball Hall of Fame, and Pete Rose had to die with no Hall of Fame honors over gambling 40 years ago on a game. So that sucked, that he didn't get to see that. And rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. You know what I mean? I used to love watching him play. Mutombo was somebody who, and it's going to segue into All the Smoke because y'all know I love my basketball, I love my basketball. And I saw Dikembe Mutombo's whole career. I got to see his whole career from, he was one of the early ones when I coming up in basketball. I got to see them from college through the NBA. And he can control a game without scoring a point. Just defense, rebounds, and he would score points, but you never had to run any plays for him. Mutombo was somebody that, was one of my favorite basketball players to watch. And if you didn't have somebody as good as Jordan or as good as Kobe to get to the cup, you wasn't no points going to be scored in the basket with him on the court. And he used to talk like this. And if you hooped in the 90s like I did, if you came up in the 90s in elementary school and in middle school in the 90s in high school, y'all know hoopers in the chat room, tell me if y'all feel me. Nigga, every dark-skinned nigga that hooped that had an accent, we all called that nigga Mutombo. Every non-white person with an accent, we called them Vlade. And every light-skinned nigga we called Rick Fox. Niggas used to give me, in LA, we didn't give a fuck. We didn't care if you was from Nigeria, Jamaica, Ghana. If you was a nigga with an accent, we called you Mutombo. Hey, give me the ball, hey, Mutombo. Nigga, pass that shit, Mutombo. I'm not Mutombo, I'm from Jamaica. Nigga, well, you Mutombo to me, nigga. Pass the ball. If you hoot back in the day, you know I know what I'm talking about. And so, rest in peace, Mutombo. And one of my homeboys, Reggie. I love my nigga Reggie. We used to always call him Mutombo. He was that dark-skinned nigga that hooped. I used to run across Mutombo every year at the All-Star game, All-Star weekend. I would see him at some point All-Star weekend every year. He's always very nice. One year the dark homie Reggie came, and we tried like a motherfucker to get him in a picture with Dikembe Mutombo because they look just alike. I'm like, nigga, I've been calling you Mutombo for 20 years, and here he is right now. I'm trying to get y'all in the same picture. And it didn't happen. I was like, fuck. We was on a bus leaving the arena when the All-Star game was out there in Phoenix. Remember when Derrick Rose did that reverse jam at the end of the skills competition? It was the same night of the dunk contest. Well, we caught the bus that was going to the Players Hotel from the arena to the hotel, and Mutombo was right there. Hell, when I saw the last time I saw Dikembe Mutombo, do you remember that story about Suge Knight getting socked out at All-Star Weekend in Phoenix? It was that night. This memory is just now coming back to me. I forgot about that till just now. Damn. We was at the Lowe's Hotel in Phoenix, in Scottsdale. This is when Shaq and Kobe won co-MVP of the All-Star game. Did Dwight Howard do the cape? I was at the dunk contest, but I forgot. I was so drunk. Well, anyway, the night after the All-Star game, there was the major end of All-Star weekend party at the Lowe's Hotel. And I saw Mutombo. And I was like, what's up, Dikembe? And then it's not like he ignored me. He was like, what's up? Then he looked up. And when he looked, I was looking at him and he looked up. He was like, what is going on? And then right when I turned around, I saw Akon security guard. Suge Knight. Nigga. But that was right when I was seeing, it was like happening in slow motion. I was like, Mutombo. He was like, hi. But you feel like you're getting ignored, but you're not getting ignored. He was like, hi. But he looked right over because he's 7 feet tall. And as soon as I turned around, it's just like, Crack! And Suge Knight got knocked the fuck out. I know on the little radio podcast he be trying to deny that shit now. No, Suge, I was there. Lowe's Hotel, All-Star Weekend, Scottsdale, Arizona. I think that was 2011 or 12, somewhere around there. I saw your ass. And nigga, that was last one, nigga. I didn't say nothing else, nigga. Scottsdale PD came running up with these assault rifles and shit. Yeah, nah, we out. We out of here, homie. What's up, Quanez? No, Greg the Barber knocked him out the first time. Greg the Barber knocked him out here in Hollywood, and I was actually supposed to be at that party that night. But I was actually at a different party. I think he got knocked out. It was that Mood. Mood was on like Sunset and no, it was on Hollywood. It was on Hollywood and not Las Palmas, Cherokee. Like Hollywood and Cherokee. And I was at a different club at the time called Basque. And Basque was on Hollywood and Vine. And I was there that night. We heard about it. But this before social, this back when you had to run your computer to get on Facebook. Before we all had Sidekick 2s back then. Or you had to put up your Sidekick 2, but it wasn't no Facebook app yet. And we like, nigga, what? I was supposed to be there tonight. Now, Suge Knight got knocked out by the barber first. This knockout with Akon security guard was the second time he got knocked out. All right? So let's get into it. Rest in peace to Kembe Mutombo. But sometimes you just have certain memories with people. It be moments in time. That was a moment in time. It was like I saw Mutombo, and then as soon as I turned around, I saw Suge Knight get knocked out. You don't forget shit like that. But so what we about to do right now, we about to go into this interview. We about to go into this interview with Kamala Harris and All the Smoke podcast. I'm gonna get a camera in a little bit, folks. So bear me with my camera doing all this whack ass color correction. I'm gonna see if I can take off. Let's see if I can I take off color correction or some shit? Hold on, this shit's pissing me off. This shit pissing me off, all this goddamn fading in and out shit. I don't know what the fuck going on. Well, whatever. We'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it later. Yeah, okay. It looks like it's working good now. I don't know what the fuck going on. But anyway, let's pull up All the Smoke podcast, and we're gonna play through a lot of this podcast, and I'm gonna give my commentary as we go through it. First off, All the Smoke podcast is a podcast. I feel, I'm gonna start off by saying I don't have any personal ill will towards Matt Barnes or Steven Jackson. Don't mind the thumbnail. The thumbnail was just, I thought of it, nigga, and it was funny in my mind to put y'all faces on some puppets. I'm sorry if it offends you, but it's not personal. Just I thought the thumbnails would be funny if I did it. So yeah, that's just something I thought of. I said, give me an AI image of Kamala Harris holding some puppets. And then I did my own work. Woo. A cheap job on Canva. Because I thought it was funny. But I don't have any ill will towards you guys. But I will be talking about you guys as an example, because All the Smoke podcast, for those of you who don't know, is a podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. And it started through Showtime, and it's a mainstream podcast. Back in 2020 during the pandemic, just before the pandemic, you had a lot of major big time money go into the podcast realm. And All the Smoke was one of the controlled podcasts that came, because there was a similar podcast that was before them called the not the Brilliant Idiots. No. It's called the Knuckleheads podcast. Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles. They podcast was popping 2017, 18, 19. They had a great interview with Kobe right before Kobe died. And then this podcast, and it started with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson on Instagram sort of talking. And it was dope because Stack Jack is somebody that talks raw, and so does Matt Barnes. These are two, when they were in the NBA, they were very real. They were fighters. They were people who hustled hard, played hard. Steven Jackson played with his heart on his sleeve. He's a major reason why, I think he is the key reason why the San Antonio Spurs stopped the Lakers from winning 4 in a row. Because when they played against the San Antonio Spurs in 2003, second round of the NBA playoffs, that was Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili's second year. Their rookie year was 2002. That was Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili's second year. They basically had come back from the same team that the Lakers had beaten in 2002. I think the 2002 Spurs-Lakers series went 6 games. I think the Lakers won 4-2, but it was a very hard 4-2. And the next year in 2003, they came back with Parker, Ginobili, Steve Smith, Steve Kerr. Then they brought in Steven Jackson. And the Spurs were just too deep for the Lakers. The Lakers were a little Shaq had come into the season, with a lot of injuries. But they were just too deep for the Lakers, and I think Steven Jackson was the difference. He was just too much for the Lakers to deal with. Kobe couldn't guard Stack Jack, Ginobili, Parker, and Steve Smith. Like, Stack Jack was just that one too many. So I want to give him credit. He was a gritty basketball player. People like to talk about him with the Indiana Brawl and the Malice in the Palace. Yeah, that was a moment in time. Sometimes fights need to happen. But he was a great player. Not great. He wasn't like a top-tier player, but he was a really solid player. Somebody that I would love to have had on my Lakers at some point. Yeah, Tasha just told me, text me, fix my light. My light fucked up. All right? I might just have to turn this light off. I might just have to go dark on y'all. I don't know what the fuck happened. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm just going to be dark on y'all like this. Fuck them lights. So, and Matt Barnes was another gritty player. He was always, if you ask me, he was the best player at finishing below the rim from the small forward position. He can get the ball and he can get to the bucket, get to the basket, and he knew how to always get to the basket. And he didn't necessarily have to dunk on you. He knew how to work that shit and get it right to the backboard. He was a solid defender. Both really good basketball players. So I want to start off by giving them their flowers. I love both of their careers in the NBA. I love both Matt Barnes from UCLA. I remember going to UCLA. I would see him play in the men's gym in the summertime in the Rico Hines League. Good players. I'm saying that to say that they were really good players that turned into pretty good podcasters that give pretty good interviews about sports. Now, the Democratic Party, being so disrespectful, they hear what we're saying, they take the person that's running for the president, looking for the black vote, and you put them on a sports podcast. So let's start off right there. Online, you see all of these intelligent black people, men and women, that ask intelligent questions, that have really big political followings. They have followings of people who are into politics. The Democratic Party decided to skip over all of those conscious programs. See if this works. The Dems decided to skip over all that shit, all that intelligence. They decided to jump over all of that and go to a sports podcast. So I want to start off with that. Let's start off with that. Let's start off with the fact that they went on a sports podcast to begin with. These were really good basketball players who are not equipped to talk politics. Not on that level. 2, with them being a sports podcast, for them to even get the invite for the vice president, now presidential candidate, to go there, questions are pre-screened. oftentimes these political parties give the questions to the interviewer. But you can do that because this interviewer isn't equipped to ask the questions needed to hold you to the fire. That's why you came on this podcast in particular, and you want to give the illusion that you care about black men. So if you want to talk to black men, what do they say? Go to the barbershop or talk sports. Ain't that what they tell us? Ain't that what they say about us? So you want to go on a podcast called All the Smoke, where you think, oh, those ghetto Negroes, they all like smoking weed, don't they? Hey, Isaiah Edwards. He says she need to go on 5150. Hey. Yeah, bruh. That you ain't said a word, dog. She need to go on 5150 and face the 5150 nation. So that's what we're starting off with. I ain't gonna lie. Back when me and Larry used to always be around the Clippers, I'm gonna tell your business, Larry. Old girl Gloria used to always be flirting with that nigga. Gloria, this back when a housewife. I was around the Clippers that a crazy season. Chris Paul was this was the Lob City Clippers. It was Grant Hill's last season, so to me it would be around. But to me, it never came in the friends and family room. Lamar Odom was married to Khloe Kardashian at the time, and Matt was married to one of the basketball wives. I think he did, and you see how that shit ended up. But but Gloria used to be on that season was crazy. One day I'm gonna have Larry call in. We're gonna talk about more about that season. But yeah, she need to be on 5150. She'll get some real goddamn questions. She won't get no puss ass questions on 5150. He just said Corey go like put her on the team for 200. That would make my fucking year if Corey interviewed Kamala Harris. Do you know how fucking amazing that would be? You know how amazing that if Corey Holcomb interviewed, if she was on 5150, what? So let's go into the interview and we're going to break this shit down, all right? We're going to break this whole ass shit down. Let's see. First off, let's look at this first stupid ass question.
If you think back to that date and now we're here, did you ever imagine this was going to be the journey?
No, I just have a really bossy best friend.
It was a blind date, right?
It was a blind date.
This question was asking about how her and her husband met. First off, if you ask a black man how him and his white woman met, do you think black women will listen to any more of that fucking interview? Do you think if a black male or close to or quasi cosplaying black male, like she's cosplaying a black woman, she's not a real black woman, but if a so-called black male was asked about how he met his white wife, do you think all of these vote blue no matter who brides will watch any more of that interview? Let's just be real. Let's be real. So that was a powder puff stupid ass question to begin with. But again, I'm sure they were given these questions. You see Stack Jack, he looked uncomfortable. I got to give Steven Jackson credit because Steven Jackson did say, you know what, she ain't talking about nothing for black people. He had his chance to ask her in his interview and he didn't, but you can see how scared he looked. Man, look, this ain't Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes' podcast. This is Showtime. This them white boys podcast that they work for. Them niggas better ask the questions on that goddamn card that neither of them thought to ask. God damn it, look at Stack Jack. He looked like he saw a ghost. He looked like you could see the real nigga in Stack Jack wanting to pop out. Look at the real nigga in Stack Jack. It's in there. It's under that checkerboard suit, but it's in there. He looked uncomfortable like a motherfucker. Matt, on the other hand, looked a little bit more comfortable. They got that biracial thing that they can share, that they can comment bond on, so he can feel. I'm sure Matt Barnes understands Kamala on a different level, you know, being that he's experienced a lot of that which race are you questions and shit like that. So I'm gonna give him a slight pass because I'm sure he relates to her on a personal level, and that's not a dig. That's just reality, you know. But Stack Jack looked like, man, I bet not fuck up.
In Oakland. You grew up around the TMC times, Golden State Warriors. We hear you're a big fan.
I am.
And there was a rumor that you were in the stands when we were there in the We Believe era.
She talked about we grew up in the TMC. Run TMC times was between 1990 and 1992. The stupid ass Warriors management traded Mitch Richmond to the Sacramento Kings for Billy, what was his name? Not Billy Ocean. What's his name? Billy, y'all, the nigga with the Farrakhan swoop. Billy, y'all niggas in the chat room know? Billy Owens. They traded Tim Hardaway for Billy Owens to the Sacramento Kings, and Run TMC was over by 93. And no, she was not. So yeah, nah.
Really?
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Do you remember?
The We Believe era was 2006 and 7. That was We Believe. So now they're about to talk about her in the We Believe era. That's 2006 and 2007.
Yes, I do remember. Okay, we want to say our Warriors are always good, whichever era, but that was a very special time. I mean, it was electric. You guys remember?
Absolutely.
It was electric.
Yeah.
And everybody, we would take BART to get there, and
That's the part that threw me off. In 2006, Kamala was DA for the city of San Francisco. Bay Area people, do politicians take the BART? She, in 2006, let me see, when was... Okay, so she was DA 2003 to 2010, so I ain't tripping. Do y'all really believe she was catching a BART in 2006, 2007 for the We Believe Warriors? Do y'all really believe that? I mean, for real. Do y'all believe that? I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. Nigga. I was around the We Believe Warriors more than you, Kamala Harris. Y'all remember this time? So much I love my motherfucking basketball. Nigga, I was going up to Oakland. I got this towel in 2006 in Oakland. I was up there when Barron, this is back when Barron played with them. I was up there with Barron and them, like, not with Barron Davis, but with people I knew that knew Barron. And we went, Steve Nash threw me this motherfucker in the stands because these were the towels that they had. I was there more than you, Kamala Harris. The fuck you mean you was catching a goddamn BART? You got proof? You wasn't at the We Believe era Warriors if you ain't got one of these. Fuck out of here. Us real basketball fans are offended. Wasn't no goddamn district attorney taking no motherfucking BART to the Oakland Alameda Coliseum to watch no. And mind you, that We Believe Warriors, that team sucked that year. The thing that made them great, because the year before when I got that towel, they had missed the playoffs. The final game was between the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. And I think the date was April 20th, 2006. Chat room. See if I'm bullshit. It's off the top of my mind. Look up that date. It's either April 20th or April 20th, somewhere between 20th and 22nd. The final game of the Warriors 2005-2006 season. Somebody in the chat room look me up. Go to Basketball Reference or something like that and ask and see if their final game wasn't against the Phoenix Suns. See if their final game wasn't against the Phoenix Suns. Let me see if I can. No, Jason Richardson wasn't there, Mac. Jason Richardson wasn't there. Jay Rich had gone by then. Jay was there. No. Jay Rich was still there. Jay Rich was injured. That's what it was. He was injured that year before. So I know what was going on at that time. Because like Fat Joe say when it comes to hip hop, I was there. Or April 18th. That's what it was. No. What was it? Warriors. It was the Phoenix Suns. I can't find it. Well, anyway, back to what we talking about. I like letting motherfuckers know I'm not playing. I was there, nigga. No, April 14th. That's what it was. They lost that game too. Well, anyway, Kamala Harris talking about that she was catching the BART while she was a public servant. The district attorney of the city of San Francisco catching the game under the sea to Oakland for a game. I call cap. I call cap on that. I'm not saying she didn't go to games, but I do not believe she was catching no motherfucking train in 2006 when the Warriors wasn't shit. We didn't even think the Warriors were gonna win that game. When they beat the goddamn Dallas Mavericks, that's when they were the 8th seed and Dallas Mavericks were the 1 seed. And that was the same year that Dallas was the number 1 seed. And then that was the year after Kobe had scored 62 on them. So let's go to this part right here. I want to get to some of these points, right, that I want to get to. Let me see. Where is it at? Okay, here we go. Listen to this shit right here.
I nearly burned down my high school, and I knew at that point, although I was very proud to be Italian and Black, that the world looked at me as a Black man. Yeah. You've always been secure in your identity, who you are, but what do you feel or what do you think when you hear people kind of questioning just the fabric of who you are?
Well, one, I don't listen to it. Okay. I'm really clear about who I am, and if anybody else is not, they need to go through their own level of therapy. That's not my issue.
Their issues, right?
My mother was very clear. She was raising 2 Black girls to be 2 proud Black women, and it was never a question.
Bitch, please. Look at the look away. Look at the body language, uncomfortable look away, that lying look away. When she said my mother was raising 2 Black women, look at that look away when she looks up to the right.
Very clear. She was raising 2 Black girls to be 2 proud Black women. And it was never.
Right there. Right there.
Never.
Right there. You lying your ass off. You lying on your dead mama. How your mama raising 2 Black girls when you went to middle school and high school in Montreal, Canada? How your mama raising 2 Black girls when you spent 1 year in Minnesota? How your mama raising 2 Black girls when you spent another year in Illinois? That would be actually dangerous to be raising 2 Black girls and you went to school in Quebec, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Westmount High School. That's what it was. You mean to tell me your mom was raising 2 black girls? Your mom was raising 2 black girls here? Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Your mom was raising 2 black girls here. What the motherfuckers talk like, don't you know? Don't know 2 black girls get raped. Your mom was raising 2 black girls here. Not even Toronto. There's some niggas in Toronto. You know, that's Canadian New York. If y'all was in Toronto, I'd be like, okay, maybe, possibly. At least they may be she might be raising a couple little Drakeettes. Possibly, not likely, but possibly a couple of Drakeettes in Toronto. Possibly. But Montreal? Hell nah. Hell nah. Y'all probably didn't even have a football team. Y'all probably had a soccer team. Fuck out of here. Hey, you ain't raising no 2 black girls in no motherfucking Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where they talk like, don't you know? Canada. Get that lying ass look away out of here, Kamala Harris. You black folks, all the smoke. You got to know when people are blowing all the smoke up your ass. Larry, I'll do that accent again, then I'll slap you in your jaw, nigga. Don't you know? I mean, I'll give you a Canadian ass whooping, boy. You better watch how you talk to me, homie. But nah, this some BS. We dealing with some bullshit off the top. With that bullshit ass look away. Yeah, how Hindu gonna raise a black woman? Motherfucker, please. Stop blowing smoke up people's asses.
It was never a question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because over the years, journalists, some, not most, will want to talk about it. And I say, okay, if you want to have this conversation, I'm prepared to have it, but sit down and get comfortable for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
No. You don't need to be, you come around me or any black person I know, I don't have to sit down and get comfortable with you for a few hours. I can tell by the way you shake my hand. I can tell by your body language when you feel me around you. I'm a 6'2" tall, 300 plus size nigga. I make the most insecure people feel very small when they're in my presence. People who are uncomfortable around black people are very uncomfortable around me. I'm a very big nigga. I ain't even gotta say nothing. All I gotta do is walk in the room and watch how your body react. That's how I'm gonna know if we ain't gotta spend no hours together. If I see your body react in a certain way, I know what I'm dealing with before I even open my mouth. You don't even know that I'm a nice guy. You just looking. I know how to deal with your bitch ass the rest of my life. And now you may smile afterwards. You know, people get the little squirm, then they smile. Nah, motherfucker, I saw that squirm first. See, you little short niggas, y'all don't have that thing. You little short niggas can't do that. Ain't nobody intimidated by y'all. If you 5'2" out there, make everybody look at you like a play doll. Like, you gotta try something different if you 5'2". If you one of them little 5'5" niggas, you gotta try something different. You 6'2" like me, you gonna get to know the real deal right away. Especially being a 6'2" nigga like me that don't smile with people. Fuck out of here. She wants you to be with her for a few hours so you can help her wash all them goddamn greens in the bathtub. So let's go to this next part. She's talking about people questioning her race. This whole segment right here, I'm not going to play the whole segment, But it's 5 minutes long about her talking around race.
If you want to start talking about race in America, you want to talk about the 1/8 rule?
A drop.
Right. You want to talk about?
She talked about the drop rule. Where's your drop of black blood, Kamala? Your drop is Hindu. And in America, Hindus are classified as Caucasian. You see that shit Candace Owens' weird ass is doing right now? Kamala, she calling you out for all that Irish blood you got. And let me tell you something, Kamala. Just all that whole judging black people off the phenotype, because people say this shit all the time. Well, if the police see us, we all black. I don't live my life by what the police think, you dickhead. I may run across the police one time. I ain't knock on wood, I ain't been pulled over by the police shit in at least 5 years. When you start getting grays in your chin, they start fucking with you less. Now I got pulled over hundreds of times in my 20s. Hundreds. But since I've gotten into my 40s, got a few, and now I drive an inconspicuous Honda Accord, and I got the grays. They don't really fuck with me like that. But when I had that Chevy Tahoe on 24s, when I had the F-150 on 22s, nigga, it was a whole nother story. But even with that being said, we're not black just based on what the police think. Fuck the police. What makes me black is my name being DeJuan Brown, and when I apply for jobs under that name, not getting calls back. Because they could tell that I'm an American-born nigga. And the plan for California in the 2000s, when I was in my 20s, and still is now, was not to give substantive jobs to black men that are born in America with college degrees. By the way, I got a college degree from the same school as her goddamn white husband. How come her white husband from this same fucking school can get her jobs, but my black ass couldn't get no goddamn jobs with this fucking worthless ass college degree? Because I'm a nigga. I'm glad it forced me to go into business for myself, and I haven't looked back. I'll never work a day job again. But why do black people have to go through that? That's the black experience. Fuck a police officer. The police officer having a black man or a black woman's name and showing up, and then realizing you black American, oh, you niggas hold too many problems. Let's hire this foreign nigga because they know this foreign motherfucker is happy to be here. Their parents raised them on different principles than them American kids. Them American kids are gonna want their rights. They gonna want they pay to be right. We gonna make sure you following OSHA laws, nigga. EEOC guidelines, nigga. Black Americans gonna make sure that, nigga, you following the motherfucking law and you paying us right, and we gonna take our lunch in 2 breaks, nigga. Y'all don't want that. Y'all want people who are happy to fucking be here. Raised by people who are happy to be here, so they don't give you no shit when y'all fuck them over. That's just what it is. And I don't want nobody crying saying, no, that's what it is. That's the difference between born black Americans and people who look black and people who are coming here. They know that it's a temperament thing. These white folks know they niggas. They know we ain't taking no shit. And they know we know the company. We're going to read the company manual. We're going to read the company guidelines, nigga. Yes. But if you new here, second generation here, born anchor baby, your parents raised you with different values. Your parents told you just work hard and go and get it. Don't worry about what they're doing to you. Don't worry about what they're doing to you. And that's good, because we were told to work hard too. But we was also told to have some fucking respect. And you gonna respect me. You was told, don't worry if they respect you or not. Just work hard and go. And these white folks hiring for these jobs know that. They know that they could treat you like shit and you ain't gonna do the goddamn thing about it. No disrespect, Ungechi, but they know. We were raised with different principles. They can treat y'all like shit and you're gonna get it. So don't tell me about no fucking with the police thing. God damn it, let me get the right goddamn job so I can live in a neighborhood to pay for myself a good goddamn lawyer when the police fuck with me. How about that? Would this give white people, black people, allow us to be able to be and live and and make a decent amount of money, so when the police does fuck with us, we can afford our own goddamn Johnny Cochran to get back at them. That'll solve all of it. I don't need your compassion. I need some fucking money. My man Anye. This my Bay Area nigga right here. What up, Anye? I was just showing them my towel, my nigga. My We Believe towel for when I was going to them Warriors games back in 06 and 07. Nigga, you can only get this shit in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, nigga. You couldn't buy these there was no buying these on NBA.com. You had to be there. So, Kamala Harris, she fucking with us. Yo. Let's see if this this camera shit work. So let's get further into this sorry ass interview. Let's get further into this sorry ass interview.
What it means in terms of who you are perceived to be and the impact that can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So, I don't mess with that. I think that's other people trying to figure some stuff out that and they
got some issues.
That's basically her way of skating around the whole being black. My mama said we raising black girls and yada, 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 yada. Nothing else, and I went to an HBCU. Now I want y'all to hear her fluffy ass answer to this question right here. How does a bill become law? Simple question.
See, can you briefly explain, because I think sometimes there's misconceptions of the power of the president or the power of the vice president. Explain how a bill becomes a law.
Okay. I believe that the best way the system works is when the power is with the people.
He didn't ask you what you believe. How does a bill become a law is been happening long since your family immigrated to this country, goddammit. How a bill becomes law. A bill is introduced, is written up by someone in the legislature, it goes through committee, and then from committee it goes for a vote in the House or the Senate. Once passed in the House, it needs approval in the Senate. Once passed in the Senate, it gets signed into law by the president. End of the goddamn question. But nah. Hindu slick answer here can't do all that. She got to do all this extra shit.
To then advocate for their needs and have their needs met. So that's the big macro stepping back, right? One of the ways that the system works to do that the system should work to do that, is we have elected representation.
She said people fight for their needs. That was the first thing she said. She said people rally for what they want. Question. I didn't see Asians rally to get $26 billion earmarked just for them. I didn't see Asians rally to get 15% of all government jobs earmarked management positions for them. Let me see. 9/20/24. No, it was off the fly. Here we go. I think it was this day. I think it was here. Y'all see I did a whole, no, it wasn't that day. It was a different day. Or was it September? Or was it September 4th? I forgot what day. Well, anyway, y'all can look it up on a previous broadcast that I did when I talked about how, I appreciate the super chat. Alberto said Hindu slick. It was somewhere over here. No. Well, I can't find it right now on the fly. I can't find it on the fly. Well, anyway, it's not coming. I can't find it on the fly. But you can look it up. It was on whitehouse.gov, and I did a show on it when I was talking about Kamala around the debate about a month ago, where I broke it down into great detail about how 15% of government management positions went to Asians, $26 billion went to Asian-owned businesses, 12% of government contracts when the pandemic happened. 12% of government contracts went to Asian-owned businesses. Did you guys see Asians fight in the streets for any of this? Chat room, help me. Is it just me? Am I missing something? Did we see Asians in the streets fighting to get $26 billion? So no, you don't have to fight in the streets to get things. Now that is a way to get things. It is most definitely a way. But you see how the question was, how does a bill become a law? And the first thing she answers when it comes to black people, well, you got to fight in the streets. Fuck out of here.
Who represent the people in these state legislatures, which is where laws get passed, or in Congress, which is where the federal laws get passed. And for the system to work the right way, legislators, these members of the state legislature, let's say your state senator, your state assembly member, or your congressman or your United States senator, will meet with, and they'll have ways of receiving information from the people about what they want. I think it's really important always that we know our power to...
Ways of receiving information from the people.
Organize around what we need, and sometimes that'll take the form of writing letters. Sometimes it will take the form of mass protests.
Question. Where are the immigrant mass protests for them to get $9,000 a month? Are immigrants writing letters to Congress for their EBT cards? Where I haven't seen a mass immigrant protest saying, let us in, let us in, let us in. We want jobs, let us in. You see the Ukrainians talking like that? Haitian, where the fuck language they speak? Write letters. We want money for the Ukraine. Is it just me? I see a lot of money getting passed around, and I don't see nobody protesting for it. The only people I see protesting is niggas. Is it just me? Is it just me? It seems to me that black people are the only ones protesting.
To make sure the voice of the people is heard by their representative leaders, who then have as their responsibility to write up some legislation that meets the needs of the people. And then
long ass answer and a whole bunch of sack of shit. Let me fast forward to another part I want to get to. Listen to this shit right. I want y'all to listen to this part.
That people who go to predominantly white institutions do, don't start out on the same base. So even if they are, they're also...
Let me go back a little before that.
Years with its purpose and mission being to create national and international leaders. It had a reputation of doing that because it did that. But over the years, we also know that our students, HBCU students, don't necessarily, frankly, make the same kind of incomes that people who go to predominantly white institutions do. Don't start out on the same base. So even if they are, they're also taking care of their parents. They're also taking care of their younger siblings, and don't necessarily have the extra to be able to build for the school the endowment, which alumni give to that.
Did I not say that before? It was a certain person, me last week that said the reason why I'm tired of talking about these fucking HBCUs is because niggas from HBCUs are making enough goddamn money. If the HBCUs wouldn't need all this goddamn government, if they were graduating people that can put into the university's endowment. But that's not what they're doing. They're graduating people who in their goddamn 60s still going around talking about some woo. Like, sit your ass down. They're producing high-paid employees, people who make enough money to live a good life for themselves, but not contribute back to the HBCUs. The problem isn't what the government aren't subsidizing HBCUs. The problem is racism. HBCUs create that they're not that great. There are black people who are great and smart enough to run and be at the top of industry. But the places at the top of industry don't hire HBCU grads because they black. They may hire a Hindu one. They may hire Rachel Dolezal, but the black ones don't get hired at the best firms. The black ones don't get, when they do create money, they don't go back to a city that has a bunch of contracts to give to the black contractors. The black contractors are fighting over 1 or 2 slots in a city that's giving out hundreds of contractors to everybody that contracts everybody that's not black. If racism didn't exist, if we address white supremacy, black Americans will be able to make enough money to put back into them HBCUs. I don't blame the HBCU for graduating niggas that don't hit the industry, because that's the whole game plan. You could have the smartest black person that graduates Hampton or Southern or any of those schools. They're not gonna get put in the position to become a billionaire, I'll tell you that much. They may make a few $100,000. They may put out a couple millionaires, low level. But no matter how talented those black people graduating HBCUs are, there will not be a lot of them. There will be there will be one here, one there, and then a decade later, a different one there. But in mass, the places that make enough money for these people that graduate HBCUs, who would love to donate back to their HBCUs, by the way, but these people are fucked over because they black. So the reason why we don't need you giving more money to HBCUs is because even when those black folks graduate those HBCUs, this government gonna make sure that they black ass get shuffled back into jobs that won't allow them to create wealth to pass down to the next generation or the generation after that. That's the problem. We wouldn't need your fucking help. And she just admitted it. But when we talk about reparations, I guarantee you this. We get reparations, I guarantee you at least 2/3 of my chat room that graduated from HBCUs will be giving, or at least a half of them, they'll be giving money back to the school. Why not? Because they got it. And the more people got, the more they're going to give. Black people, we give a high percentage of our income to charities, mostly church. But black people love giving. Black people are natural philanthropists. But you can't be a fucking philanthropist when you got to pay the light bill. And because of you, Kamala, the price of goddamn eggs is 15 times as much as they was in 2019. I be looking at prices from 2018 like it's the movie The Sandlot. Y'all ever watch some old ass movies? You be like, God damn, shit was that cheap back then? Nigga, all we gotta do is go back to 2019. For that? You say you went to HBC, you knew then you wasted your time and your money. Look, I went to a white school and I realized when I graduated I wasted my time and my money. But I get what you're saying, my brother. College is a hustle. Whether you go to HBCU or what they call PWI, it's a hustle. Samurai Show said Hampton still might not get shit from me. I'll tell you this, Cal State Northridge ain't getting a motherfucking thing from me. Cal State Northridge ain't getting a motherfucking thing from me. But some of y'all would. Especially the way y'all Divine Nine niggas, the way y'all niggas be in their goddamn 50s. Ooh, I was a so world ski week. Nigga, you is 59. Lady, I just thought of a very nasty joke that I decided not to say. Maturity, Dewan, maturity. because that joke was going to involve the word skeeting. But I'm growing up. I'm growing up. Let's go to this other part. So let's go to that.
Is every signal it sends you is telling you, do not confine yourself to somebody's idea of what it means for you to be a young Black person in America.
I want to touch on mental health.
Yeah.
What? See all this? See, this we talking about all this black, all this black talk. She's talking about my mother said I'm raising these 2 Black daughters. Don't confine you with what it talks about to be Black. But they ain't talking about no policy for Black. That's the insulting part. Leave the Black out of it if Black ain't gonna be addressed in policy. Why are we talking about all this Black shit if Black is not addressed in policy?
Mental health is big in the Black community, especially with Black men.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Black men out here who starting grassroots organizations to help their communities. I'll give you an example. A guy named Zeke, he's building chapters called New Era in all over Detroit, the Bay Area, Texas, everywhere. And then what they're doing is they're taking care of the communities.
Yeah.
Regardless of race, if somebody's being mistreated, if it's
Jack, you just lost me right there, regardless of race, huh? What's all this Black talk if it's regardless of race? If we're going to talk, look, I have no issues with talking regardless of race talk. I have no issues with talking about big tent, let's all come together. But if big tent, let's all come together is the conversation, then let that be the conversation. Don't black, let's all come together. Because other groups don't let's all come together when it comes to the money. That's the issue. The issue isn't I want to be separate from you or I'm better than the next group or the next group is better than me. Okay. Email me those links. Email me those links. I got you. Email me the links so I can pull it right up and put it in here, all right? Well, anyway, that was a text message I was answering through y'all. I have no clue with everybody doing everything because there are a lot of things in America that do involve everybody. Our roads, our healthcare system, our freeway systems, our infrastructure, whether or not we're going to have bus lanes or wider lanes. These things are Big Ten issues, and there are a lot of Big Ten issues to have. You know, corporate, the privatizing of government systems like school districts. These are all Big Ten ideas that black, white, yellow, indifferent, we all share a common concern over. I think that issues that cover everybody should definitely be discussed because most issues when it comes to government involve everybody. So I'm not here to say we should not talk about things helping everyone. What I am saying is don't Trojan horse that with black stuff. It's weak. It's very weak. It's when other groups, when they're talking about AAPI, they're not talking about AAPI in all oppressed groups. The small hats don't say we want some gefilte fish and fried fish and snapper for the niggas. They say, nah, we only want the gefilte fish for us. And that's cool. The Native Americans don't be like, y'all stole our land, so let's talk about programs that's going to benefit everybody. It's very weak, and it gets nothing solved. And as a matter of fact, it's insulting. So let's go back to it.
Building chapters called New Era in all over Detroit, the Bay Area, Texas, everywhere. And then what they're doing is they're taking care of the communities. Yeah. Regardless of race, if somebody's being mistreated, if a store being mistreated, if somebody's being mistreated in that community, they're going to handle it.
19 keys hands on,
too, right? 19 keys and also Zeke. Is it anything that you're thinking about that can help these people that's building these grassroots that actually get stuff done on the ground?
Absolutely. I think, first of all,
overall, that's a good question that Stephen Jackson asked. He mentioned Black organizations that are helping everybody. And he said, is there anything you can get done? Is there anything you can do legislatively to help these Black men that are creating programs and promos for everybody? That's what he asked. And now watch her skating ass answer.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, I think the mental health issue is probably one of the biggest public policy failures in our country. We have acted as though health.
He asked her, there are people out there, grassroots organizations that are effective now. Is there anything you can do to help the people who are already moving? Look, Kamala, if these people are out there working now, they already know the problem. They have a solution. They need money to further their solution. Stephen Jackson overall asked a good question. There are these Black men out there doing these things that are helping the community. Is there anything you can do to help these organizations that are already moving? And here she go, skating around every goddamn thing. She's skating more than goddamn Bruno Mars and
care
and Usher.
We've acted as though the body starts from the neck down.
Right.
Instead of understanding we need health care also from the neck up. And it has to be done in a way that gives people the dignity and the respect they deserve.
Right.
The most effective mental health care is often because it is peer-based, it is without judgment, and it understands. People have to be understood for, who they are culturally, who they are in terms of their life experience. If you're really going to be able to get into
people, and I agree with her on that. People do have to understand who they are culturally. And if you understand who you are culturally, you're going to understand that you're a different culture than this bride.
Their needs. I worked with a brother here in D.C., Kier.
When she started using the word brother, I worked with a brother here. When the fuck she started talking like that?
Who actually has been doing a lot around modeling, in particular, and I had him come in a couple years ago, actually. We've been talking about how we focus in particular on our Black men and our young Black men. Because we also have to take the stigma away. And so part of that is about reminding people, it's just like, if you break your arm or you got a toothache, this is about healthcare. And helping people understand it's a sign of strength to ask for help.
Look, Black men are not slow. We know when we need help. Motherfuckers ain't not getting that. Does the stigma exist? Yeah. But guess what? Folks is going against and doing it anyway, B, regardless of a stigma. Hell, I'll go so far as to say 70%, 60% of my customers in these cards are Black men. I'm busy on my card reading schedule. I'm doing multiple readings a week. I read at least 3 Black men a week, 3 or 4, along with other groups too. But if I have 6 or 7 readings in a week, 8 readings in a week, if I have 8 readings in a week, usually 5 are Black men, 4. And I have a couple repeat customers, but most of the time they're always new. Black men, we not these things that y'all try to make us out to be. Black men aren't these beasts that only like hip hop and basketball. We humans too. And we also know when we need help. I have sometimes when a lot of my listeners, y'all hit me up. I have so many Black men hit me up saying, hey, can you get me in contact with Kendall? I need some hypnotherapy. And y'all hit Kendall up. Black men are taking care of themselves mentally. The issue is money. Programs like mine, and I'm waiting to hear her answer. My company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services, before I started reading cards. When I was doing my IEPs to help, I wasn't getting no public funding. Black people were coming to me all day for help getting their kids an IEP, but they didn't have the money. But let's see if she still answered the question.
Not a sign of weakness.
Right.
Because when we talk about mental health care, a lot of it, especially for people who have experienced trauma, we're talking about pain. And we understand physical pain.
The mental.
Take an aspirin, whatever. But we don't deal with mental and emotional pain
Psychological,
in the same way. And here's the thing, first of all,
we don't deal with the mental and emotional pain in the same way. Like this brother in the chat right here. He don't deal with mental and emotional. This brother in the chat right here is somebody that was fondled by his uncles. And when you get these niggas that was fondled by their uncles, they go looking at other niggas physically, looking for some kind of attraction because you attracted to niggas because you was fondled by your uncle. And you go around making stupid ass comments in chat rooms because you was fondled by your uncle and you never resolved those issues. So you go around looking at other men making outdated jokes, thinking you're funny. Kyla Mickle, what's your name? Kamala Harris is talking about you when she talks about black men who are afraid of the stigma. You don't want to deal with you being violated like that in that way. And there's no issue with people being violated. People get violated all day, but some people being violated take that on the inside and they go seek help. Other niggas who being violated go around looking at other niggas on some Puff Daddy shit. You need some help, my brother. No diddy. Baby oil and wrestling matches ain't gonna help you deal with those demons from your uncle fucking with you, homeboy. All right? So that's just part of my public service announcement, you know, thinking about what Kamala Harris said. Man, you better make sure you fix your own internal shit. Handle your shit. Handle your shit. Why would I need help from a nigga that don't handle his own shit? Look in the mirror and you'll see a bitch. So handle yourself, my brother. And then after you handle that bitch assness that's in you, you can come out back to the world and give advice and maybe people will receive it. Oh, my nigga Andre in the building. What's up, my nigga Dre? He's in when Kamala get to Rockets. She trying to remember the BS. You right. That's my guy, Andre Theobald. That's my guy right there. Much love for that dude. I mean in real life. I know that brother offline. That's a good dude right there. So let's go back more into what she has to say or not say.
Look, growing up in poverty, trauma-inducing.
Major.
Growing up around, you know, any form of violence, which crosses socioeconomic lines, by the way, so let's not act as though it's just right, low-income people. Everywhere. Trauma-inducing. And the thing about it is, you know, when we talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
What about post-traumatic slave disorder? Dr. Joy DeGruy has done plenty of great work on that. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. These are the environments that black people grow up in disproportionately. These are the environments that black people grow up in disproportionately. And when we talk about reparations, when we talk about doing things to help black people, we're talking about bringing in money so we don't have to grow up in these traumatic environments. That's what we're talking about. This is what reparations solves. Getting policies specifically for black people. You keep talking about how black you are, young lady. You keep talking about how black you are, but you seem to keep jumping around doing the things that will help the disproportionate amount of black people that have to go through this BS. That's the problem. That's the problem. Oh shit, I'm to the wrong screen. But anyway, I'll get that card reading off. This one I was reading Shannon Sharp yesterday. This is what y'all can do. Hey, look in the chat room. Everybody look in the chat room. Hey, mods, copy and paste what I just put in the chat. Copy and paste what I just put in the chat. Go to blisscapsules.com. I'm telling y'all right now, this is my homie J-Mo, who wrote a whole bunch of dope ass music for Anthony Hamilton, Jill Scott, Layla James. Goddamn, you go down the list. He got this new product, legal mushrooms. These are the legal mushrooms, Amanita and Egyptian lotus. This shit here gets your mind all the way. This is the kind of shit, these Bliss capsules, these are the ones that get your mind like lifted and elevated, but it does not have psilocybin in it. It's no psilocybin in these. So the psilocybin is what the government don't like us having it. You know, the psilocybin is what they be like, yeah, nah. So this ain't got no psilocybin in it, but it gives you that lifted, focused feeling. You know, it gives you that lifted, focused feeling. Trying to pull the website up on my end. Here we go. Order some of these right now. This is that creative shit. If you're a creative like me, you want to fuck with this, all right? This is the legal shit, but them legal shrooms. If you're creative like me, this is what I want you to fuck with, all right? Go to blisscapsules.com. You better do that shit right now, too, before you forget. Because your high ass might forget. So you do that shit right now while we all... Do it right now while we all talking. You dig? So your high ass don't forget. All right? So, and also what you need to do is you need to go to also DewanB.com. This is where all my shit is. Go to DewanB.com. We still putting the documentary together. Finish my interviews. We got my documentary up there. We got the Black American Music Family Tree up. Go there now, and also go to breakthroughcards.com. Scroll down to the bottom to find your birthday. Your birthday is January the 23rd. Oh, you're a 4 diamonds. That means you somebody that into values and stability is the basis of your life, and you can't do anything unless your shit is right, stable. So stability, if you're born January 23rd, February 21st, March 19th, and down the line. Find your card and then hit me up for a reading so I can decode your personality and tell you how to use your personality to advance yourself, to meet your highest needs. You dig? So let's go back into Kamala Harris and her bullshit jive ass answers to this stuff. So she asked a question about mental health, and you see we can go on and on and on and on, and she never answered the questions about what she can do to help people in the situation.
As the first step to diagnosing it and then getting the treatment. And during the time I've been vice president, as part of the work we've done on gun violence, we've put now millions of extra dollars in public schools to put more mental health professionals in our public schools. But we need to do a lot more. Because again,
you need to do a lot more. Well, this would be a great time to answer Stephen Jackson's great question, by the way. It's a great question. Here are these specific people I know that have programs in these specific cities. What can you do as president to help them with their programs? She talking about teachers. She talking about what a bill is. She talking about everything other than what she can do to help grassroots organizations. And Stephen Jackson even softened the blow. He was like, look here, they not even just helping black people. They helping everybody. And she still couldn't give him an answer. Look, how long was this answer? They do a good job of doing segments. The 2111 mark all the way to the 2709 mark. 5 minutes.
It needs to be diagnosed and treated, right? And understanding this is not about some child who who is bad.
Who
it's
wants
not
to be
some
this.
child who wants to act out. It's not. This is not a choice that child is
effect.
making. But it's not a choice this child is making. They're actually in pain, and it manifests itself in ways that are antisocial potentially. But the child's in pain.
Don't know how to get it out.
It's a defense mechanism. Yeah. I have a question.
That wasn't the question. That chat room, was that the question? Let's go back and let's for me. Okay, this is for me. Let's just go back and listen to the whole question.
Touch on mental health.
Yes.
Mental health is big in the Black community, especially with Black men.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Black men out here who starting grassroots organizations to help their communities. I'll give you an example. A guy named Zeke, he's building chapters called New Era in all over Detroit, the Bay Area, Texas, everywhere. And then what they're doing is they're taking care of the communities.
Yeah.
Regardless of race, if somebody's being mistreated, if a store being mistreated, if somebody's being mistreated in that community, they're going to handle
19
it.
keys
Hands-on,
too, right?
19 keys and also Zeke. Is it anything that you're thinking about that can help these people that's building these grassroots that actually get stuff done on the ground?
Absolutely.
That was a question, and here's her answer. Here's the end of her answer.
Effect.
But it's not a choice this child is making. They're actually in pain. And it manifests itself in ways that are antisocial potentially. But the child's in pain.
Don't know how to get it out.
It's a defense mechanism. Yeah.
She answered what the children are going through, not how to help the children that are going, not how to help the people who are helping the children who are going through it. Is it just me? Is it just me? Am I the only one that picked up on that? She was asked a direct question, how do you help these specific people doing these specifically great things for their specific community? And her answer was fluff and fluff and fluff and fluff. Fluff and fluff and fluff and fluff. Fluff and fluff and fluff and fluff. Fluff fluff. Fluff fluff. Fluff fluff flippity fluff. And the pain of the child, fluff fluff fluff. Hey J-Mo, I'm about to take some of these blisses right now. I got what? I got 5 of these bliss. I'm about to take like 5 of these hoes right now. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be getting off here in about 30 minutes because I'm gonna start feeling good in about 30 minutes. It's gonna be fuck y'all. But she was asked, how do you help these specific Black men doing these things? And she diagnosed the problem. Spill some. Drewski, she ain't, I know she sounds slow, my brother, but she is playing us for slow. That's what this is. She's playing us for slow. Yeah, Dano, get some of this bliss. I had some of this shit last week. I had some dope ass creative ideas come my way too when I had this bliss, some of these bliss tablets last week. I had some dope ass ideas. But let's keep going.
I have a question along the mental health line. We spoke to Kobe and I did his last interview, and I asked him, over his long career, was there any negativity or hatred or disrespect toward you that he heard and hurt? And he said, I heard it all. Yeah. And he said it all hurt. As someone who's been the first in a lot of spaces you've been in, a woman of color, knocking on the door to possibly be the next president, how do you protect your mental health and your mental space?
Well, number one rule.
Another fluffy ass question. I don't give a fuck how she protect her mental health space. Let's follow up Stephen Jackson's question. Stack Jack asked a good question. That was a very clear, direct question. And now you want to go into, how do we protect your mental health space? Man, fuck your mental health space. You got a job to do. Don't nobody ask they plumber's mental health space when they got to go up under the house. Your plumber probably going through a divorce right now and he fucked up. But you calling your toilet backed up. You think you give a fuck about your plumber's divorce when your toilet's backed up? This is somebody running for the president of the office of the United motherfucking States of America. I ain't got time to be worried about her mental health space. The same way I ain't got time to be worried about the mental health space of my electrician when my goddamn electricity go out. What kind of stupid ass question is this? But I know he was probably asked to ask that question. Matt Barnes, in order to get his check, I'm sure was asked to ask that question. So let's go ahead and hear about it. She gets into the economy right here. Let's go into these courses about the economy.
Like to do that takes your mind off
away
of
from it. Mm-hmm.
the stresses, that is also productive, right?
Economy, small business, black business. We actually just started our business in January, so we've grown from a show to a whole entire company. What is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So look, I grew up. So my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child.
He was asked about what she's going to do to help the economy. And she keeps going back to her apartment in Oakland. Why don't you ever talk about your house in Montreal, Quebec, Canada? Why don't you ever talk about that? Furthermore, neither have anything to do with the goddamn question.
Child care center. That child care center was actually owned by a woman who lived 2 doors down from us, Mrs. Shelton, who was, by all of our accounts and feelings, our second mother. She helped raise us. And so she was a small business owner. So I'll start with the small business, and congratulations on what you guys have done. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. And so a lot of my work in terms of building and growing the economy has focused on small businesses. And my vision overall is we need to build an opportunity economy in which we increase
This is where she goes to her whole opportunity economy, which is a playoff Trump's opportunity zones, which is something that is going to help, that is nothing specific to black people. So we've all heard her talk about her bullshit ass opportunity economy that doesn't make any goddamn sense. So we'll move on. I'm not going to bore you guys with those details. As I went through the interview, you get after here when she talks about a whole bunch of fluff and puff and nothing about the economy.
Because most people, look, here, maybe you've gathered this already. Here's where I come from. Most people have ambition.
She's still talking about the economy, but she still ain't talking about no fucking solution. So you see where that went. And then it goes into the fluff and puff questions. Her views on weed. Okay, yeah, I smoke all the weed, nigga. I just got a goddamn a QP the other day, nigga. I am a weed smoking motherfucker. I smoke probably anywhere from 3 to 8 blunts a day, depending on how I'm feeling. Sometimes 10, but usually no less than 3. I don't give a fuck about no weed in politics, nigga. We fucked up out here. Hell, I smoke my weed to help with the goddamn anxiety with that shit, man. But I don't want weed the same way I don't want abortions controlling my politics, because I know how to put a fucking condom on when I need to back in my single days. Know how to pay for birth control and all that shit. I don't want birth control and that shit covering my politics. nor do I want weed talking about covering my politics. And she went in talking about something. No one needs to be arrested. Well, you did it. You wasn't doing that shit when you was San Francisco DA. That wasn't your thoughts back then on the black men you put in jail. But as much of I'm a weed advocate. I'm a weed. People who know me personally, Andre Theobald, you know me. You'll see me when I'm out at the comedy clubs. Nigga, I always got weed on me, nigga. Nigga, I got my little cannabis container right here. Nigga, weed is always around me. I'm always gonna be high. I love my weed, goddammit. I just got some blue Kush mints. I got some Kush mints. No, grape Kush mints, nigga. As soon as I'm done talking to y'all, I'll be smoking them grape Kush mints. But I don't want to talk about that shit when it comes to politics. Politics is business. I smoke weed in my own goddamn time. Fuck out of here. A matter of fact, I vote by mail. When I'm over here filling out my ballot, I'm gonna have a blunt in my right hand, and I'm gonna have my pen in my left hand because I'm left-handed, nigga, filling out my ballot. But I don't want that shit to be a part of my politics. Maybe in times where the milk isn't $15 for a gallon of milk, we can talk about weed. But in an economy where gas is $5 a gallon, goddamn milk is more expensive than gas, eggs, butter. In this economy, when people who want to, there's plenty of people who want to get a reading from me that can't afford it right now because the economy fucked up. By the way, this just dropped in. I only do this shit when my spirit tells me to do it. If somebody wants a reading from me, but your money just ain't right, email me, okay? info@dewannb.com. If you got your money, nigga, goddamn pay. Nigga, this is my business. But if it's somebody out there who feels they really need a reading because of where they are in life right now, but you don't have the money, email me. We'll work something out, all right? We'll work something out. Email me, info@dewannb.com. That just dropped into me. But people have real life shit. I don't want weed and abortions to cover my politics. Not with impending World War III. Israel just killed the leader of Hezbollah. That man, I don't know his name. I'm talking about, I've been seeing that man's picture since the 90s. That kind of broke my heart a little bit. Not that I support either side. I don't give a fuck about either side when it comes to that shit. But the Hezbollah leader, he's somebody who cared about his people. And although I don't know too much about his politics, I never really got into their politics. I don't really fuck with none of that shit because we got our own problems here in Black America. I'm used to seeing this face on the news my whole life. And at the end of the day, this is a man that loved his people. Whatever they was into, I don't know. But when you see people killing other world leaders, man, that's always going to give me pause, no matter what side get killed. We should be able as human beings to work things out diplomatically using our words, using our gestures, not bombs and shit. So when I see somebody die, whether I agree with their politics or not, it's like, I don't fuck with Donald Trump, but I didn't want to see that degenerate die either. I fuck Donald Trump. But that would have broken my heart if the nigga died like that. I don't want to see that. Nor do I want to see Kamala Harris die. Nor do I want to see Benjamin Netanyahu die or Putin or any of these people. But we live in a world where this is real. This is going on. And you got people talking about weed and abortions. The fuck world are we in? I just know that man, that leader, he loved his people. And anytime I run across or see somebody that love their people, I have a connection to them. Whether you may love your people and be on a different side of the fence than me, but that bond of loving your people deeper than whatever oppositions come your way, I respect, even if I don't like you. Because I love my people regardless of what the fuck go on. So I can respect people who are willing to stand 10 toes down for their people. Other than that, I ain't getting in their business. That's white business they handle out. Had them goddamn people over there in the Gaza Strip. Y'all chased the niggas out 1,300 years ago anyway. That land was black. Nigga, that was them was niggas there back in the 800s, in the thousands, in the 1100s. Y'all chased them out. Y'all getting done the same way y'all did them niggas that was on that Gaza Strip a few thousand years ago. So that's life. Nigga, people get chased up off their shit every day, B. Black folks, we got chased up off our shit here in America. We trying to get it back. But hey, empires fall and rise, whatever. Let's keep living. But for me, it's about what's going on here. It's about what's going on here. So we have all this shit going on in the world. And Kamala Harris is talking about goddamn weed and abortions. And then when you get to this part right here, she's talking about cannabis. And then they start having some stupid ass quick hitter questions.
Favorite holiday to cook and what's your signature dish?
Well, Sundays are my favorite days
Sunday
to
dinner.
cook.
Favorite holiday to cook and what's your signature dish? They got into asking about this question right here. I want to point this part out.
So if I could put him at the table with my mother.
Okay.
Shirley Chisholm, first black woman to run for president.
That's big.
She brought up Shirley Chisholm. This is why that's important. Shirley Chisholm was also non-black American. And look at this stupid ass court. If she don't look like the motherfucking Joker to you right now, nigga, look at this Joker laugh. This fake as fuck, all them teeth. And don't no real laugh require that many goddamn teeth. You fake than a motherfucker. She showing 62 teeth in her mouth. The teeth she tell the truth with and the teeth she lie with are all showing up in the same goddamn screen right here. Shirley Chisholm was a non-black American woman who pushed the feminist agenda onto black society using politics. That's who Shirley Chisholm was. No disrespect to Shirley Chisholm, but if you go back and study Shirley Chisholm, she brought into that us and stuff to black America, and she brought in a lot of that feminism, dividing the black woman and black man stuff into our politics. So if she looks up to Shirley Chisholm, she's looking up to a non-black American woman, someone who's an anger baby like herself, that was about pushing agendas that were other than the black family unit together. So understand that when she says when she's talking about Shirley Chisholm, with that big fake phony cheese pizza ass smile she got right there. Now, I'm gonna get to the last answer right here that I want to close off with right here. This comment right here that she talks about.
And not that any of the other candidates didn't, but just do you have a connection to the people and a life experience that is about just seeing people and but it was a whole thing. I mean,
but I heard you did some cooking. You were trying to watch a movie and couldn't focus. Like, is that your nerve? That's what I want. Yeah.
Well, so you want to know that part?
Give me that. Yeah.
No, that wasn't that part. Let me fast forward to the part I want to get to. I was on the wrong part.
Got up and started. Everybody's asleep. I just got up and started cooking.
Set your mind easy. Yeah. Last question. As someone who's broke a ton of barriers throughout your journey, and your journey is continuing to elevate, what does it mean to you to be the first woman president, but the first black woman as president?
Yeah. Well, not there yet.
You see, they got the light-skinned mixed nigga asking that question. Stack Jack was like, "Yeah, nah, homie, I ain't asking that question." Matt Barnes, you out of a line. You out of line for asking that question. I don't care if it is on the paper, my brother. You out of line for asking that question like that.
Knock wood. My mother had many sayings, and one of
hold on. Where else did I hear her say knock wood? Where else did I hear her say knock wood? Hold on. Let's see something here. Let's see something here. Because you said when it came to the first black woman president, I heard her answer like that before. And I know I still got it bookmarked. I know I still got it. I better still have it bookmarked. Oh, motherfucker, I better still have it bookmarked. I bet I'm scrolling. I better still have it bookmarked. The one, oh yes, I found it, motherfucker. I found it.
Democratic Party for a very long time. Democratic Party for a very long time, not just this election cycle,
Listen to this.
has been doing a lot of active outreach around South Asians, around the API in general, and will continue to
South
do.
Asians.
What we know in particular when you're talking about the South Asian community, we're talking about the Indian community more specifically, it is a growing community in the United States in terms of its voting bloc, in terms of its participation, and I think the party knows that and knows that this is part of our collective community, and there needs to be outreach and inclusion.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
Which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
Knock wood must be a Hindu way of answering questions, because listen to this.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
That must be the Hindu answer. Okay, so knock wood. Okay, let's see our Hindu answer right here.
First black woman as president.
Yeah. Well, not there yet. Knock wood.
Continue to elevate. What does it mean to you to be the first woman president, but the first black woman as president?
Yeah. Well, not there yet. Knock wood.
Yeah, she said knock wood like knock on wood. See, black people say knock on wood. Black people don't say knock wood. Black people don't say knock wood. We say knock on wood. By Eddie Floyd. This how we say it. This song funky as hell. This how we say it. Let me get to that part. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black, lady. You Indian. As you said right here.
To become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
Not good.
Continue to elevate. What does it mean to you to be the first woman president, but the first black woman as president?
Yeah. Well, not there yet. Knock wood.
That don't, baby. Nigga, that's how we say it. Chat room. Black room. Bruh. We getting played to our face. But let's watch her answer to this question.
My mother had many sayings, and one of them is she would say to me, Kamala, you may be the first to do many things. Make sure you're
Back
not
to her
the
mother.
last.
Motherfucker.
And I take that so very seriously. I've had the good fortune to mentor a lot of people along the way, including to this day. For me, it's about, one, understanding the shoulders I stand on. We talk about a Shirley Chisholm, and then so many people who are alive who have mentored me and held me up. And I feel so strongly that, you know, each one pull one. You got to leave that door open more than it was when you walked in. And that's what it means to me. I feel a great sense of responsibility. I mean, you talk about your daughter and what she's doing at school. I look at our sons, I feel a sense of responsibility to hopefully remind them that you should never hear no.
The question is about being a president, and she's talking about giving out hope. I swear these Democrats are the biggest hope dealers on earth. President Obama was the greatest hope dealer ever. He was greater than Freeway Ricky Ross. That nigga was greater than Oliver North when it comes to living. Oliver North didn't deliver crack better than Obama delivered hope. Reagan couldn't put together crack. Reagan's crack wasn't as addictive as Obama's hope. Your job as president is to sign legislation to advance the society, to advance the cause of the greater needs of the society. That's the job of any president, of any politician, to hopefully pass legislation that's going to move society forward. She didn't say that. She said, I want to give y'all hope that because my Indian ass did it and Shirley Chisholm almost did it, you can possibly do it too. You see, that's the problem. If she was interviewing with some real ones that could say what they wanted to say, like Kamala Harris, hope these nuts, nigga, what we gonna do about the policy? And you never answer Stephen Jackson's great question. I got to give Stephen Jackson credit for that question. That was a great question because it was specific, and it was just one thing that she can do. She could have easily answered that question well as president. Going back to Stephen Jackson's question when he talked about, I have some people who have grassroots organizations that accomplish these goals. If she was going to help the regular common person out, her answer would have been, well, I have a plan that we're going to take $45 billion a year and we're going to fund grassroots organizations that are helping the community. You know, the schools are overwhelmed, the police are overwhelmed. So black men and people who are creating programs that meet the need of the kids out there, we have $45 billion earmarked to fund those organizations. That's all she had to say, or $100 billion, or $2 billion, or whatever. That's an answer from a politician that plans on doing something for you. She would have had an answer about this many dollars will be allocated to groups that are helping this issue, that issue, and that issue. I understand black kids and kid, or you just say you don't want to say black, fine. Children of color are discriminated against because of the neighborhood. Well, we're going to allocate $50 billion in communities across America. I mean, let me give Kamala Harris a general broad answer. Let's say you don't want to talk about black people, fine. Well, we have $50 billion earmarked for oppressed communities in areas of the economy that live in disadvantaged communities, to where people who are creating programs to address the mental health of people in disadvantaged communities. My proposal is $70 billion to fund private grassroots organizations that help people of color or people in disadvantaged communities with mental health. That's all she had to say. That's all she had to say. But instead, she talked about her mama. Huh? But see, she doesn't have a plan to fix anything. She doesn't have a solution. You know why? And thank God for my quick ability to Google and talk at the same time like I just did. But you can look it up. The Moynihan Report, Benign Neglect Policy. That's when Patrick Moynihan told Nixon, basically what happened in this report was they were wondering why black people were rioting, why black people were tearing this country up in the 60s. And they basically concluded that black people, the government throughout the 1960s, as it was giving out civil rights money, was saying that we're going to help black people out. And they never intended to help black people out. So what they did in the Moynihan Report, they said black people it's best that, you know, we bring in, we give greater emphasis to, I wish I could find the actual report itself. I know it's out there. I used to be able to find it right away, but that shit be getting scrubbed like a motherfucker now. They be scrubbing that shit. Every time I find it, and on my old computer before my fucking hard drive busted, before my hard drive had got fucked up, I had the shit saved. But basically what it said was black people were promised a whole bunch of shit we didn't plan on giving them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically ignore them. We're gonna raise and elevate the needs of Native Americans. We're gonna elevate the needs of handicapped people, disadvantaged people. We're going to elevate the needs of everybody else that isn't black. And we're going to give black Americans a period of benign neglect to where we acknowledge their problems, we talk about their problems, but we do not fix their problems. We do not, Nixon Library.gov. Okay, .gov, let me see. Let's see if I can find the Moynihan Report. No. It used to be so easy to find. One day I'm gonna do a whole show on the benign neglect policy. I just gotta go back and, if I give myself some time, I can find it. But in the meantime, I'll show you here. This is LA. This is the New York Times version of it. 4 recommendations. Look here. Here's what we're talking about here. It said, let me see here. They talked about, here we go. Moynihan offered 4 recommendations involving meeting of top officials to discuss the issues to move forward benign neglect in public while continuing progress. Research on preventing crime and recognition of such Negro leaders as Dr. Jerome H. Holland, a former Cornell University football star, was recently named ambassador to Sweden. Basically what they're talking about in this report is we're going to acknowledge the needs of the black people. We're going to put black leaders out there. We're going to act like we're doing something, but we're going to neglect them niggas. We're not going to actually address or solve anything that they have, that they need solved. We're just going to act like we care. So that's what the benign neglect policy was about. And that's what we still are under as black Americans. Benign neglect. They come in to act like they're doing something for us. They act like they care for us. They act like they fuck with us, but they don't. They don't. Jerome, appreciate the Cash App, Jerome. Appreciate the Cash App. And if y'all want to hit the Cash App, hit it right now. $DeWan B1. And the link is also up there in the chat. But $ Dewan B1. I appreciate that. Oh, I got another one. Kevin, I appreciate the Cash App. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. Yes. Kim, I appreciate the Cash App. So this is what we're talking about. Promise them nothing. That's right. Promise them niggas nothing. And that's what Kamala Harris is executing. Let's go to this nigga podcast where they smoke weed and talk about basketball and tell black people what I'm not going to do for you. That's ultimately all of what this interview is. If you have 47 minutes of your time, she couldn't even give them a clean hour. But if you got 47 minutes of your time to watch it, go ahead and watch it. I encourage you to. Go ahead and watch it. All right? But if you don't want to watch it, I totally understand. This is your synopsis of it. And yeah. What's up, Hurt? Got a super chat. Said, oh, come on, Hurt. He said she got plenty of wood. That must be what you talking about. Knockwood. Yeah, she done got knocked with plenty of wood. Sweet Dick Willie Brown. Got her own, boy. When they talk about black folks, Willie Brown put her on. Ray J put on the Kardashians. Hey, brothers, we got to start using our shit wisely, my man. We got to start putting on, at least using it to put on somebody that's going to be worth more than 2 dead flies. Niggas, we putting on the wrong kind of people. We putting on the wrong kind of people. What's up, Aries? You came in right at the end. It's all good. I know you're going to catch the replay. Appreciate you always for joining the chat. Got a couple Aries up in here. Aries Cuisine, appreciate y'all. Yeah. He said, nah, I'll pass on that interview. Hey, I suffer so you don't have to, all right? And I didn't suffer because, again, salute to Stack Jack and Matt Barnes. But Kamala Harris, Compu Software, I appreciate the Cash App. Kamala Harris, you ain't shit. And you did not answer Stack Jack's question about what you're going to do to help. A simple question you could have asked if you had any sort of plan. What's up, T. Clay? It's day one right there. Derek Fuller, I appreciate y'all for joining. I'm about to get up out of here, so yeah, y'all see what it is. Another lame attempt to control the conversation and redirect it into this small perimeter that does not provide solutions to the immediate and long-term needs of Black Americans. I'm not buying it. The brothers did their best, but they part of that whole All the Smoke podcast is part of the system. And the system is going to pump out. The system isn't going to do anything to harm itself. The system's only going to do what the system's only going to promote itself. And All the Smoke with them being attached to Showtime and those legacy media organizations is part of the system. And this is all part of the system. And so it was a system interview with the being cloaked in blackness. Stack Jack did the best he could, but she didn't answer his goddamn questions. Matt Barnes did his best to play it down the middle, and she played you too, homeboy. No disrespect, got love for him, but she played y'all. All right. Thank y'all again for listening. Remember this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Go to DewanB.com and join my Patreon. Oh, and also Sunday, this coming Sunday is the start of my card reading class. This coming Sunday, you want to know how to read these cards like me? We are starting this coming Sunday. Those of you in the class, you'll get an email like around Wednesday or something like that from me, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. We out.